Hello and welcome to the 8th ever episode of the DevOps Office Hours here on the DevOps Directive channel. Today I'm joined by everyone's favorite guest to the series, Donny Roufs. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, I didn't know I was a favorite, but that's
Well, I
cool
mean,
to know.
you've been on how many? This is our fourth episode, I think.
Yeah, maybe even the fifth,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So yeah,
Oh,
I'm not
it's
sure.
uh,
I put it in the thumbnail, but I can't remember.
it's been a
But
long road.
it has been a long road. We started a few months ago and created a DevOps wish list for a project of yours called League Decks. So let me
Mhm.
share out my screen and I'm just gonna refresh where we're at so that people can remember. So Donnie had built this project called League Decks, which is a game tracking system for League of Legends. Donnie's dog says hi. And so he had built this. He had deployed it onto a droplet in DigitalOcean. Um, and we wanted to take this and kind of take it to the next level in terms of Dockerizing it, uh, make sure we can move the database securely. Right now, he's backing it up just by using droplet backups, but want to make sure we migrate that database, potentially add uh, a a new droplet using that Docker configuration. We talked about Docker Swarm, but then we decided actually not to go that route and are just using Docker Compose directly. But yeah, so that's kind of the idea of the series. We've made a lot of progress. Let's see how good our notes were from previously. Um, we managed to put both the client and the server into containers. We separated out that bootstrapping process, right, of using Prisma to seed the database and bring it to the latest schema with the migrations. Um, what else we got here? It's been a few weeks, so I'm just trying to bring myself back up to speed.
Yeah, same. I'm glad you're doing the talking. I can't remember.
That's right. But if we look at the code, we'll probably refresh ourselves as well. We should probably just run some of our make commands and see if they work, and
Yeah.
then dive in from there. I think at the very end of last time, we were just starting to talk about how we were going to uh, dump the database, move it to the new
hmm
droplet, and then restore it. And so I think off stream, I did a little bit of work in terms of getting some of these commands to work, but we can test them out and figure out the best route there. We see Sam in the audience. Hey, Sam, welcome. Glad to have you here. Good to know that the stream is working and there's someone out there in the world watching.
Yeah, I guess it's really hard to get attention on YouTube actually with streaming compared to Twitch TV.
Yeah, I think it does notify my subscribers, but otherwise, I think discoverability is a little tough.
hmm Yeah.
Um, so yeah, let's build. We're just gonna make run dev and make sure that still works. It's been a few weeks. Who knows?
Well, I'm seeing green. That's a good start.
Green is a good start. And we've got our Docker Compose dev file here. We've got our Postgres image. We've got our API. And we've got our front end client. Starting the database, seeding the database. That's good. And then we have a separate Bootstrap DB container that just runs this Bootstrap script. And then if it's successful, it exits. So that's what this is. Exit code 0 is good. 0 means success. So let's go into our browser. On localhost. The front end's on 3,000, 5,000?
Yeah.
3,000.
3000.
Cool. Taking a little while.
hmm Yeah, the error was fine.
All right, we've got life, and then our usual test to make sure things are working. We log in as admin what is it? ASD or test? Okay.
Easy space, whatever.
Log in, view collection. Then we test if we can make some notes, I think is the other test that we do. We've got Annie. Okay, and if we refresh, we get it back. Okay, so nobody came into my computer and messed with things while I was away, so that's a good sign. We did a few things with this data. So we're actually mounting in this local DB data directory here within our top level, so this folder. And that is being mounted to the location in the Postgres container that is expecting to see that data. So that will allow us to, for example, when we back up the file system on our droplet, we'll be able to capture those. Otherwise, they would be contained within a Docker volume it would also work and you could back up that volume, but it would be a little trickier to manage potentially. Right. So then we want to be able to dump this DB, clear out all our Docker volumes, and then restore from that same DB and see if we still get this note. Would be a good test to make sure that our process is working. And so let's see if we can do that. Let me get rid of this dump file. And Postgres has a command dump and dump all. So we can do So dump, I believe, just gets a specific database, all of the data and settings associated with it. Dump all gets every database and every setting from the whole database. And so I think it'll be easier for us to just use dump all, even though that's going to grab both the staging database and the production database. And then we'll probably add a couple of commands to drop one or the other, depending which one we're trying to restore. Because I think we were going to separate these out, right, to have both of them on a smaller droplet so that you just have cleaner isolation between staging and production.
Yeah.
Awesome. I see a few comments, so I'll run through those before we hop in on this SQL dump stuff. And if you're in the audience and want to let us know where you're from, it's always fun to see where people are tuning in from. So hello to Saif. Hello to Shubham. And Saif has a question. DevOps engineer, how can I work remotely, start my own business? As you know, I need companies to work with. You certainly do. My initial clients were mostly from my network. So it's a tough chicken and egg problem where you have to have people that you know who are looking for this type of work. I think the best way is just to let people around you know the skills that you have and the type of work that you want to do, so that they can, if they have a need, they can think of you and reach out. Hello to Carl. Good evening. Good evening. He's from Germany, so he's a little closer to you, Donny, than me. And Carl, welcome. I know you came from the Eddie Hub community, so I'm glad to see you here. There's another YouTuber, Eddie Jaoud, who I know Kyle works with him quite a bit on some projects.
Right.
Cool. So we were looking at this pg dump command. Let me zoom in just so people can see it. But it basically just generates a big SQL file of SQL commands that, if you run them in order, will create effectively the exact state of your database. So you run pgdump, and then you run, I think there's an equivalent, dump all gets everything, including roles. And so that'll just make it even easier. Unless we wanted to separately define the roles, but I think let's just go with dump all for now.
Yeah, dump all seems fine.
This database, when you checked, it was only like 10 to 20 megabytes, so I think that should be perfectly fine. If you do start to run...
It's never going to be that huge.
Yeah. So. If you get a big database, you have to start to do some things around compression, or maybe doing it in parts. But 10 megabytes isn't too bad. Okay. And so if we open up a new terminal, Docker PS, we can see that our 3 containers are running. We've got our, I wish it would format this a little nicer. We've got our API, we've got our front-end client, we've got our database. So we're going to want to run a command against this database, which is named leakdexdb1. We're going to want to run that dump command. I think I can just run it inside that container, and then, yeah, let's see. So I have a Docker exec on that container. I want a shell, and then the command that I'm passing is going to be the password, dump all, username, and then I'm going to dump it to this dump.sql, which is a local file, because this exec is happening on my MacBook. So that should be fine. So let's try that command. Okay, no errors, no logs, no nothing. But
Looks like it's empty.
yeah, all we got
Oh,
was.
wait. We are looking at the wrong one, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry. It should be dump, not create DB.
There we go.
Aha. So yeah, now we have 1,000 lines of ugly SQL, but hopefully that contains all the magic data that we care about. Let's now do Docker compose, or I'll kill my Docker compose in the other terminal. Oh, are these okay? You do not have logs.
Yeah, that's
okay.
fine. The hash sheet really refactored this, but it works, so whatever.
Yeah, so let's delete our Postgres container and the data in DB data, re-bring up our application with Docker Compose. That note should be missing, right? Because we didn't save it. So Docker. Include stop Docker. Okay. Yeah, so this one. We're going to get rid of this. Okay, so I think I did enough to blow away the data, but we'll see. Hopefully Docker's not hiding it somewhere. And while that's coming back up, because it takes a few minutes, we will look at these comments again. Hey, Shyam from India, welcome. Hopefully I said your name correctly. Kyle says, get done some new requirements this week. Yeah, so he's working on an API service for this EddieHub project that they're deploying to Kubernetes. So I think there's a lot of complexity there across the stack. So good luck. Good luck. And Ali, 1080p. Yeah, so I'm using OBS to stream. So hopefully the quality is a little better. And everyone can read every character. So glad it is looking nicer. Glad to have everyone here. Da-da-da. Uh-oh. Container is unhealthy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one before. Yeah, exactly.
Reminds me of installing npm packages on a server.
That's right. That's right. We can also just look at Stack Overflow about how they suggest moving Postgres to another server while we wait. Okay, PG dump, so we're not doing it terribly wrong. And then they pipe it into this psql command. Okay. Yeah, so if we want to do it with one command, you could pipe it in like that, but I think it's fine to do it the way we're doing it. Put it into a file, and then back up that file. So that was just a weird error maybe, because this time the bootstrap succeeded. Maybe it was just like a timing thing where it was trying to, I wonder if because I had blown away the Postgres container, but the bootstrap container still existed, it started up before the Postgres container, and so then it was trying to do something before it existed or something. I don't know. But we got our DB data folder back. We'll go onto localhost. Close this one so we don't fool ourselves thinking we're in dev when we're in production. Yeah, at my old company, someone wrote a little Chrome plugin so that if you were on production, you had like big red banners everywhere, and if you were on staging, you had yellow, and then if you were on dev, you had green, so that you would never accidentally change data that you didn't expect. Admin. Oh, that's not a good sign.
Oh. Proxy error.
Not proxy. No.
So it's saying that the server's down, I guess.
Yeah. What did we?
No, it's running.
It's running. You're switching terminals on me. There we go.
I actually like the change that I did on the terminal in VS Code, but I also hate it.
What'd you do?
Now I have to click like they actually changed the UI a little bit.
Oh yeah. This
terminal.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but now you need to click like twice to actually do something.
Yeah, I used to always just split the terminal, but now I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Cool. So let's look at our no container. Oh, it's API 1. Okay, it says it's listening.
Let's read this.
Let's localhost 5000. Champions are there.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if it was weird because I deleted just the database, and so the other container still existed and had some stuff in its file system. Maybe that is weird. But we want to go to Annie. This is the one we did last time, right? Very first one.
I really don't remember.
I think I just did the top left, and it had no notes. And so now let's see if we can restore from our. Actually, let's just look in this. We should be able to find. This is a note, test note. Okay, so this is the note that I created, and when I run that restore command, hopefully it will get copied into our database. And I think I actually did this as a separate. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to kill the app. Well, no, it should be fine to run while it's live. This basically says only run the DB portion of this compose file. Like you can tell it to not run the full thing. And so it's going to look at Docker compose dev, only run this one, but it's already up. So I think that should just do nothing. Oh, but I'm going to shut it down at the end anyways. Okay, so I'll kill it. This sleep 15 was just a hack because it takes a little while for the database to be ready to accept connections. And so if I immediately tried to restore, the database wouldn't be running yet and I would get an error. So just, there's probably a better way to like ask, there's probably some endpoint to check its health and see if it's alive, but 15 seconds seem to be good enough.
Yeah, that endpoint is not existing in this app.
No, I mean on Postgres by default. I'm saying just the Postgres health. Right. So I think it likely has like a health check route.
Does Postgres have that?
I don't know. Either way, 15 seconds seemed like enough. And then, like before, I exec this command feeding in my dump SQL, and then I shut it down. So let's try and make restore DB. Starting the database, sleeping for 15 seconds. Donny is, Ali's asking about your background blur. Donny said he's moving. He's a little messy, so he decided to keep it blurred out today.
That's correct. Plus now I actually look like a professional, so minus the bad lighting.
Cool. It looks like we ran this. We got a few errors around primary keys and the name already existing because we already did our bootstrap script. Okay. So hopefully that will be fine because we bootstrapped, we got our schema effectively, and then hopefully this just copied in the data, but I guess we'll find out. Make run dev.
I actually got so lazy with the landings page for LeakDex. Like I didn't even preload images.
Da-da-da.
There we go.
Still loading, it looks like. Let's see.
Oh, I was looking at the terminal.
Oh, yeah. All right, I need the Jeopardy music. Yeah, the API is good. There we go. Log out, log in. And what we're hoping is that we managed to grab a note and it was indeed restored. So this restore dump process works pretty well. Like I said, because you're hosting staging and production in a single DB, we'll probably have to do a little bit of tweaking to this dump file, probably just dropping either or one of those databases. So I think we'll probably just add a drop staging DB. Do you remember the names of those DBs? Is it staging and production or staging dash LeakDex or?
I believe I called them LeakDex production and LeakDex staging.
Okay, cool.
Wait, let me check. I'm actually on the server, so. It is LeakDex hyphen production and LeakDex hyphen staging.
Oh, I have the new Copilot from GitHub, so it's
Ooh.
suggesting the staging or production database. Nice. Um, we should just let it do its thing. You know, we don't even need to do anything. What does it think we should do next? Oh, and recreate it. Cool. That's funny.
That's a cool concept, but I have a hate-love relationship with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. What else do we need to do in terms of our production Docker Compose here? Reminding myself what's even different here. We're going to need to definitely set these environment variables via the command from GitHub Actions. Right? So we could jump over into GitHub Actions maybe. I could also just create a droplet real quick so that we have something to deploy to. Let's do that.
It's actually a funny story. DigitalOcean, they banned my main email address because for some reason they think I tried to scam them or something. I don't know. So I tried like 2 more emails, and both of them also got like flagged for scam or whatever it is. And then like the most random email that I got actually worked, and I made many tickets, and they just kept saying that I tried to do some sneaky shit.
Oh geez.
Really odd.
Anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to use this Docker marketplace on Ubuntu. Basic. They're trying to get me to buy the $50 a month one. I definitely don't need that. Let's just go with this regular versus premium. Let's go regular. $10 a month, 2 gigs, 1 CPU. Sounds good. Let's make it in San Francisco. That would be another thing we could add to the wish list, is do this with Terraform or infrastructure as code. But for now, that's all fine. SSH key, I'll use the one I already have. Actually, yeah, we'll just use SSH key. It's fine. Tags, backups. Okay, so that's working in the background. And we didn't actually push these images anywhere yet, right? No. Okay, so okay. Let's do tag equals 0.0.1. API.
Interesting. So are those actually variables?
Yeah, so these are environment variables. If I do this question mark, then if it's already set in my environment, it will not get used. But if it is not set, it will fall back to this. If I use something like this, it will set it directly and not allow you to modify it. I forget exactly what the colon in front of the equal sign does versus just an equal sign. But I think it is more final if you use the colon. And then let's just go with Docker Hub. And we'll need LeagueDex API. Oh, I did something here.
2 months ago.
2 months ago. It's been a while. Oh, I was fooling around with deploying the API server onto Kubernetes with Civo Cloud. So I think that's what I was doing.
I remember. You sent
yeah.
actually.
it was cool, but I don't think I think it's still overkill for what we're doing here. All right, let's just do, this will be API, public, create. This will be client. All right, that should be fine. Oh. Yeah, eventually we'll replace this tag with the git hash or the release number from GitHub. Then we'll just do this. And so because I'm actually building these in the subdirectory, and make makes a new shell with each command, I'm going to do this, which is a little, I don't know. I could also set it within that directory, but I want to have everything set from this top level. So now within here,
I mean, it can be worse if you have seen my GitHub actions. So,
so yeah, now within client makefile, we have build base, and let's do unset tag so that it exists. There we go. So for now, we're just going to tag everything the same. Target production. I guess locally we can keep it with what we have before. Leakdex client dev. Yeah, really the only one that we care about tagging properly is production. This will just be our dev. Except that we want to have one label. Okay. So now if I do at echo pass, copy, paste. So those are just not doing anything yet. The other thing I think someone pointed out last time, or not too long ago, is that really for each of these, because they're not true make targets, I should have, I wonder if phony all works, but interesting. Let me Google that. Basically, you should declare it as a phony make target because there's no file that corresponds to it. In a normal make file, oftentimes you are referring to a specific file that you're then going to build. And so you can get a naming conflict. For example, if I tried to name one of my make targets public or source, it would find that folder and not know what to do. But if you declare it as phony, then it knows not to look for a corresponding file. File phony all, does that work? Oh, just because you would have a make all probably. Okay. It wouldn't correspond to all of the targets. But we're gonna do kill that. Make build API. We get our tag like that. It's good. Ali's asking if you have worked with NoSQL, or me, I don't know who he's asking, NoSQL as well. I've only done a little bit with NoSQL and MongoDB. Most of the companies that I've worked with have been using Postgres, and so I have much more experience with SQL. The flexibility that SQL provides you in terms of being able to write arbitrary queries against your database and in a sane fashion is really nice. NoSQL is good for some use cases, but I think for many companies, as long as your data set's not too big, going with SQL makes a lot of sense.
I've worked with it, but I don't like it because I just can't find a proper use case. Maybe I haven't come across the right one yet. I've seen some companies use it. Also, one of the companies that I applied for, they only used MongoDB. But my experience with it, together with TypeScript, is like pure nightmare. So, and I find it really easy to just do SQL, and yeah, I don't know, it feels easier to me. Plus, I always see beginners that start with a MERN stack, and I always see them struggle with MongoDB. So I think it's easier to just use SQL because everything is really well documented, and all the ORMs for it are way better. But I believe Prisma actually supports MongoDB right now, so that might actually change.
Yeah, there
Prisma
are some
is making some real improvements.
And then I've seen, I think it's called HarperDB is trying to do both at the same time, which is interesting. I don't know what it looks like under the hood, but I've seen some people talking about that. I mean, I guess NoSQL technically stands for not only SQL, so you can have a superset of SQL if you want, and still technically be called a NoSQL database.
It's very true. I'm actually, for my YouTube series, I am using NoSQL. NoSQL. I prefer calling it NoSQL. But you can all, like in the series, you can see me struggling because I don't use it often enough. So like, how the hell do I do this?
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Donny's YouTube is in the description if you haven't checked it out and want to go learn some TypeScript and some other good stuff. He's put out a few new videos recently and just cracked 300 subscribers, I think. So pretty soon,
well, almost.
Pretty soon he'll be surpassing my subscriber count, I think.
Nah, won't happen. Maybe. There are a lot of good YouTubers. It's just sad they do not get the proper attention.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there are good YouTubers, and there are good programmers, and there's some overlap between the two.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how much the thumbnail and title game matters in terms of discoverability.
Yeah.
My thumbnail game could use some work.
Oh man, mine too.
Oh man.
They're terrible.
Why is this so slow? What did we do? Did I forget my Docker ignore or something? Anyways, this would be Docker push. Oh. And then we can recursively call make with that. So then we can do a single command to this one. How are we doing down here? Okay, we made it through. Make. So if I do make. That should build and push all of them.
So does that mean that you actually pull the GitHub images when, wait, so the GitHub actions, do they pull the Docker images? Or am I misunderstanding that part?
They will pull the base image.
Right.
But in terms of like when they're building it, they will pull the base image, build it, push it to Docker Hub. When we execute our Docker compose command on the droplet, it will download the image.
Okay.
The GitHub action will never download the completed image that we built. It will build that image and push it, but it won't ever download it. Cool. How is our droplet? It should be up by now. Getting started. Oh, there's our IP address. Cool. Let's go here. See if my SSH key is still valid. Okay, we're good. We're live. Actually, should we set up just a test test.leaguedex.com, and then you can point that to this domain and see. We could just try to manually spin this up.
Yeah, we could try.
I forget what we even did in here. We have server name, www, upstream.
Didn't we, like, we only did the API, right?
Well, so this is
the production one.
Yeah. So that's all we want is the production one.
Yeah.
But we'll just change it to be test.leaguedex.com here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Actually, let's copy that. I guess we can test our production one locally as well. Maybe. Make run dev, make run production. Oh, I think in the production one we don't have the bootstrap, right? Is that true?
Sorry, what?
In the production version of our Docker Compose, we do not have the bootstrap because we may or may not want to run our migrations every time.
Yeah, that's correct. But also, I believe Prisma just ignores the migrations if they're already done.
Yeah, I guess the question would be, there could be an instance in the future where you have a migration that you need to run before the code is deployed or after. So I think that was what we were thinking.
Fair. Yeah. That's actually some scary stuff, though. I hate doing that. Even though I go in migrations, I just hate it.
Oh, it's not on 3000 anymore, right? It's probably on
80, right?
80 for okay. Okay, that's good. When we run on the actual host, oh, that's the other thing we'll need to get a certificate set up to do, or we could just use Cloudflare's flexible flexible HTTPS. I should have images there now. Didn't I push them? Maybe I just need to refresh. Oh. No rule, make build production client. Oh. Yeah, so if we SSH here, because I chose that Docker image, we should have Docker pre-configured. And because these are public images, we shouldn't need to authenticate anything. So that's fine. We're still doing that. I'm going to clone my fork of this repo. Do we have Git installed? No. App update. Yeah, I'm just going to push these changes to my fork of the repo and then clone it onto this droplet. Might be the easiest. Apt install Git. Is that going to work? Cool.
Yeah, that's how I also did it in the beginning.
Yeah, I could do an
so
SCP
confused.
command. I could just copy it from my local system. Let's see. No.
Wouldn't that be slower though?
There's not that many files. Either way would be fine.
Right.
Probably still faster than this yarn build.
Yeah. Oh.
Allie has a suggestion on an off topic. Let's hear it, Allie, while we're waiting for this thing to build.
Oh, it's done.
Okay. Docker Hub. So now if we refresh the page, we should have version 0.0.1 available. Cool. Same thing for the API. Repositories. He's saying he needs a suggestion, not giving one. Oh, bummer. We thought you had a suggestion for us. Yeah, so we've got our LeakDex client, LeakDex API. Great. I'm going to... We've got our make file with a bunch of changes. Cool. We've got a to-do. Oh, we probably should have looked at our to-do list.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, we'll check that in too. We got this make file, looks fine. We've got our Nginx, looks good. Then we've got a server to do. Man, these to-dos are just everywhere. Oh, we've done that. Make term, that seems good. Oh, we're making good progress on the server to-do list. Look up what this volume mount is actually doing. Create process. I'm not going to check that one in because it looks like we're done with most of it.
Right. Yeah.
delete. Cool.
So obviously the best commit message would be something along the lines of did a bunch of stuff.
Added initial deployment config.
I'm actually starting to get used to doing git batch so that I can actually do commits on given chunks instead of files. But it's still it's a little bit weird to transition into.
GitHub, League Decks, my version of League Decks. Copy. Where are we actually at here? /root. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, why did we not get a top level? Shouldn't we have a top level makefile? Did I not commit that?
Did you forget to push actually?
Ah, good call. Or I'm also not on the master branch. Git push. Yeah, so I pushed, but I'm on feature right. Dockerize app.
Yeah. Always.
Aha.
There we go.
So we've got our makefile. So I think what we want to do first is let's restore the DB, because in that'll get us to our latest configuration. But do we have all the images we need to do that? Docker compose. We just run that. It'll pull the base default. It'll pull the public Postgres image. It'll do what we want. We've got our dump SQL here. Yeah, we're gonna do make restore. Oh, it does not have make? Okay. Oh, let me make this window a little bigger. Ali says he needs to send text message announcements to 60,000 users. Takes 3 to 4 hours to finish. If I do run Cloud Function, max running time is 5 minutes. Yeah, so you could batch them, obviously. Let's see if he has a few machines running all the time, don't have scalability, primary goal, separate instances processing in parallel. Yeah, that's a good question from just a dev in terms of what is imposing that limit. My thought would be if you're going to run them with a serverless approach, you probably want to have many of those running in parallel. And let's say each of them is only sending a small fraction of the total amount of messages. And that will allow each of them to terminate much faster than the 5 minute 5 minute runtime limit. Cloud Run also has like a 1 hour timeout limit, I think. So that could be another option if you need a bit more time. But yeah, definitely want to batch and not sort of run through all 60K in series.
Should also quickly mention, which is not related to his question, but I mentioned before that just a dev is a good friend of mine, and he also mentored me. But if there's like anyone here who likes game development, he is doing his series on Bomberman in TypeScript, which is actually a really nice series because he's doing it from scratch, and you see his actual thought process.
Super cool.
If you
does he have a YouTube channel, or does he write about it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me find his YouTube channel.
He's doing it on YouTube. But he's doing it like really low key. He's not promoting himself or anything.
Well, that's why we.
I thought I would give him a shout out.
Yeah. That means we need to promote him, right?
Yeah. There should be more channels that do that, because that's pretty nice. Like, game development teaches you so much.
Not this one, right?
No.
Just a is it just a dev on YouTube as well? Just a dev.
Should
There
be,
it is. There it is. All right. Live subscribe. Copy that. Paste it in. Cool. Just put it in the chat. Nice. I'll have to check that out later. Cool. But it looks like make has finished installing. And now we're going to restore the DB. Doesn't have a .env file because
yeah, because we didn't. Yeah, because we can't. We don't get it from GitHub, of course.
yeah. In our server.
We should have an example.env though.
And do we actually need anything? Oh.
Well, we can open that env. There's nothing in there.
It looked like there was something in there. I don't know what.
Yeah, but there's nothing that can.
Nothing useful.
Anything.
Okay, no. Cool. Why don't we just make a? I don't think we actually use that, do we? Touch. In our production, make production Docker.
I mean, there are some things that we use. It mainly holds the secrets for authentication.
Yeah, but if all we're spinning up is this, I think it was just Docker compose whining, because to restore the DB, we don't need it.
All right.
Just to, so I think having an empty one is fine for restoring the DB. We'll need to populate it for some of these other ones.
Yeah.
Couldn't find. Oh, there's a separate one for Prisma, huh? Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, the older version of Prisma has its own environment variable, but in the newer one, you can just do it in your own environment variable.
Okay, so we satisfied Docker compose with some empty .env files. We will need those in a minute. Actually, yeah, here. So you say I can bring this .env on screen. How did I even get that .env? If it wasn't in the...
We created it.
But right. Yeah, but it looked like it had values in it. That's why I was worried. Where did I get those from?
Oh, there's nothing. Doesn't matter. Like there might be a League of Legends API key in there, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah, that's...
That one is already expired and it doesn't matter. So
okay.
It's a development API key.
Got it. That's what I think I saw, and I was worried. I was flashing that on the screen. These ones These I just randomly typed. Okay, now I'm remembering. Yeah. It's been a while.
Definitely. Like the API key doesn't even work anymore. So.
Cannot open dump. Oh, because I didn't check in. Obviously, I didn't check in my my dump file. We're gonna do something a little funny here. We're just gonna.
I mean, at least you know what Vim is. It's progress. You know, if you try to do this on the terminal of DigitalOcean, it would not work.
The web UI.
Yeah, like they have this interface to copy and paste, but it doesn't work. It just.
Well,
I can't believe that they didn't fix that.
We'll look up our SCP command in the meantime, see which one's faster. User at blah to destination.
So, I think I found movie makers, like where they just paste they dump SQL to a server.
Right. It looks like I'm doing something really impressive here.
Yeah,
it's a lot of data. I didn't know.
Looks like it's repeating or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just kill it. kill terminal. Okay. Anyways, so we want to do SCP. The file we want is dump.sql. The user, and then it'll be root at blah, and then let's put it in root slash the dex. All right, that was a little faster.
Definitely.
Oh. CD league dex. And
it didn't look as impressive though.
It didn't. Well, I don't know. It depends who was watching. If someone knew what they were doing, it would look, the other version would look very silly. But to the untrained eye, the copy paste method is fun. Okay, yeah. So now we will try again with our make restore DB. Sleeping.
It actually makes me sleepy. Holy shit. Oh.
And Ali has more information for us. 20 texts per second is limited to the vendor. Oh, interesting. That seems odd, but yeah, so you could, Yeah, 20 per second seems quite slow. So you could run it as a background process on one of your servers that you have up. You could have a cron job that runs every minute and triggers a lambda that fires off 20 of them. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one. But it looks like we successfully restored. Then we want to try our make run production. Oh, and then can you go create a record pointing test test dot, what did we change it to?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the leak text, right?
What? LeagueDex API denied. Oh. This Docker Compose dev. I forgot to update my image tags in my Docker Compose file. So now this is...
No, looks like I actually need to upgrade LeagueDex. Like next month is the last month of the subscription.
For subscription for what?
For the domain.
Oh.
For the domain name.
Or do we just abandon the whole project?
Yeah, I will rename it to something else. League SuperDex.
Did you get that IP? Should I?
I think I screenshotted it, but now I'm not sure if I did.
143.110.144.33.
Wait, can you say it again? 143.110.
144.33.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
We were going to copy in our bogus end files.
Oh, there's one issue with this domain though.
Oh yeah?
At least as far as I remember. Because I'm using Cloudflare, I had to set up custom DNS for the name servers. And it doesn't allow me to add new or different records.
I
don't know if that's a name sheet then. But I do have different domains, so that's fine.
Okay.
So I can take another one.
I can also add it to one of
That's-
my domains is fine too.
Oh, no worries. I got like I bought a few domains because I thought it was a good idea. I don't know why. So I have a really fitting one. Let's go. Add new record. There we go. Okay, so it got added on this domain. Wait, I can't remember. Yeah. Send it on Discord.
Okay. VanillaReact.com. Cool.
Yeah. I was actually building an application for that would show you like a difference between Vanilla.js and React. And it's like pretty much done, but I couldn't be bothered to finish. So now it's just a useless domain.
So we want to update our Nginx config to now be this. Make push. Oh. Yeah, I must be. I thought I had a Docker ignore that would have my. Oh, it's because I keep changing my make file, maybe? I'm just wondering why I'm not caching this step.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for my Nginx conf, I need to rebuild, so that makes sense. Dun, dun, dun. So hopefully that'll finish soon. We will pull the latest images. We'll run our Docker Compose production, and who knows? Maybe we'll have a website. All right. Get rid of this. Make push client. Hopefully my internet is still fast enough. Quick, cool. Make SSH. Oh, not make SSH. What am I doing? SSH. League decks. Oh. What? Oh, okay. I edited it on my local system, but not here. And so my tag now is Ajax client. this one. And then LeagueDex API is this one. Oh, didn't mean to. All right, here we go. All right, we got the client image, we got the API image, we created our database. Let's get another session going. Servers listening on 5,000.
My dog is going nuts.
Oh, we probably also should have changed this to be 80.
Right.
And then are there any firewall settings that we needed to do? We might have need to poke a hole on port 80. Networking. HTTP traffic, inbound 80, inbound 443. Yeah, let's attach that firewall rule to this droplet. What? How do I how do I attach it? Droplets.
Good question.
Choose droplet. Here we go. What's our droplet called? Docker, Ubuntu. Here we go. Here we go. We're getting there.
Some good user experience there.
Firewall. This firewall. Droplets. Add droplet. Search for it. That looks like the one we want. All right. So now we should be able to access on. Oh, that request is at least making it through to our server.
Yeah, it got it. So it's API champion or champion, so I can't remember. I think it's champion. Or not. Maybe it was champions.
Hey,
Oh,
okay.
champion.
API is running. What about just our Whoa. All right. All right.
Ooh.
So if anyone in the chat wants to go try and break things, here's the URL.
Shouldn't be hard.
And then what we're hoping is that our test note that we, oh, that's not what we want. Get out. View collection, our favorite Annie, and there we go. We successfully restored our database to this version that we're running. The production config appears to be working as expected in terms of proxying that API, as well as serving our front end on the domain that we want. That's a good sign. So I think the main steps that remain are sort of, one, adding a GitHub action, two, changing all of our insecure passwords to secure passwords, three, what else is there? What am I forgetting? We need to actually dump the database from your production app.
Yeah.
Where's my to do? Where's my to don't? Yeah, Ali, let us know if we have something misconfigured and you're able to do anything on the server directly. Hopefully not, but we'll see. We will see. You were thinking we'll just use the Cloudflare flexible SSL?
That's like the easy solution, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. I wasn't sure if it was going to work the very first time. You never know.
Yeah. That seems to be working.
But yeah, so the things that we did manually there, we updated port for client. Oh, someone's doing something. That's probably Ali hitting our API with Postman.
Yeah, most likely.
Let's see if it impacts the user experience here at all. Seems fine. Let's look at the droplet resource usage. His laughter gives him away. No, I mean, Ali, keep going. I don't think it matters. We might as well see how it does with some load. So feel free to send as many requests as you want. Let's see. I was gonna go here. I wonder if we'll even notice it on these. 6 megabytes a second. CPU usage jumped up to 37%. Disk I/O. But yeah, we'll check that in a bit after he continues to send these requests. I also should run this in the background rather than in the foreground. It would be nice if we could update just the server or the client without upgrading the other. Similar to how in this restore DB, we're targeting just the database. We could set it up so that, let's say if there's no changes to one of either the client or the server directory, we don't need to necessarily build and deploy that. And we could set up our GitHub action that way. just to avoid restarting if we don't need to. Might as well just change that here. Yeah, the reason I didn't have it to 80 here is that sometimes my local system complains if I try to attach to port 80.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I can do it if I'm sudo, but not if I'm not sudo. Cool. So it seems like the main thing that remains is just sort of productionizing and adding our GitHub action. Does that seem right?
Pretty much, yeah.
What do you think? Should we? I think I've got half an hour before I have a conflict, but I could also, we could also.
I'm starting to get hungry.
All right, yeah. I think we made some good progress today. We successfully dumped and restored our DB. We managed to deploy it onto this domain at test.vanilla.react. We have pretty much just the automation piece and the setting of our passwords properly instead of just random strings that we typed locally on stream. But yeah, seems pretty good. Maybe part 6 will be the final part.
Maybe, yeah.
Cool.
You're getting pretty far in, so that's good.
Yeah. Cool. I'll clean up some of these notes and push them to the to my fork of the repo, and then we'll plan for another stream where we tackle the GitHub Actions piece.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Well, thanks so much to everyone for tuning in, and we will call it there. All right. Until next time. See you.